Hey guys, it's Cayley. I'm back with another what sold from last week video. I'm in the car today because I am on the run. It is a thrifting day, but I still wanted to get up a what sold from last week video. If you're not already and you would like to be, don't forget to subscribe down below and hit that notification bell. You'll get notified every time I post these videos every single week. So what sold is basically just a video where I check in with my subscribers, talk about where I'm at in the business, what my sales are like, do a breakdown of some of my costs, and then I dive into some of those individual items and talk about why I picked them up and how much they sold for. Had a pretty good week last week, but surprisingly there were a lot of lower price sales. And it's got me thinking, am I becoming a volume seller? Let's dive into those sales now.
Okay, so everything here on the screen happened between October 2nd through the 8th. That is a Sunday through a Saturday, and that is how I calculate these sales numbers. In total, between two platforms, which were eBay and Poshmark, I sold 221 items for a whopping gross sales total of $5,516.05. Outstanding, super happy with that. If you guys follow all of my what sold videos, you're going to notice that my average sale price has been consistently lower over the last several weeks, but surprisingly my gross sales have actually gone way up. So I don't want to say I'm becoming a volume seller because it's definitely not my model, but I have been kind of just liquidating some of my older items, dropping the prices significantly, marking down stuff, running promotions, running sales, all that stuff on both platforms, and just trying to move out and flush out some of those older items. And that's really attributed to a lot of items sold and also my average sale price dropping. So I wouldn't anticipate this being the case for much longer because, like I said, I flushed out a lot of those older items. But what can I say? Like bread and butter stuff, the $20 to $25 items are really what pays the bills. And I think you're going to see that in this video. I did have some larger price sales, which I also included, but a lot of this stuff, once again, is just bread and butter, average sale price, $20 to $25 stuff that you can pretty much find every time you're in your thrift store. You just got to know what factors and which brands perform the best and sell the quickest. So just wanted to cover that because my average sale price has dropped quite a bit. And I highly recommend, if you have stuff that when you first started reselling you weren't making the best decisions, it really is good to get them out of your store because it can bog your store down. So my estimated cost of goods for everything that sold last week was $884, and then my estimated net, which is the gross sales less the cost of goods and less the fees and shipping costs, was $2,934.63, and I can't be happier with that. I did want to mention several people have asked if the gross sales on eBay includes shipping, and on eBay it does, and on Poshmark it does not. So Poshmark, we just kind of consider shipping a wash. It is included, like if I have a shipping discount, that number does get included with the way that I calculate these numbers. But I just wanted to say for anybody watching that specifically on eBay, it is counted in gross sales because I actually receive the total amount of shipping money. And that's why I take out the shipping costs later. On Poshmark, I don't necessarily receive that money. I only get charged if there's a small discount. So I hope that makes sense. On eBay, I sold 124 items last week, and on Poshmark, I sold 97 items. Gross sales total on eBay was just over $3,300, and on Poshmark, over $2,100, almost $2,200 actually. And both of these have been, I won't say neck and neck, because definitely Poshmark is still not where eBay's at, but it's becoming pretty close. It's like a 60-40 situation every week. And I've really amped up my Poshmark closet by participating in those sales that I talked about earlier. So let's dive into some of these specific sales. I'm going to start with eBay first. So the first one is the brand Oros. Definitely not a brand that I'm familiar with, but I did want to share this because this is a size extra small women's jacket. And it sold for a best offer of $60. I paid $14.99 for it. Now, let me tell you why I paid up for this brand. So if you look up Oros jackets, they actually do not have a 100% sell-through rate. And there's a couple items in this video you're going to see where I went against my business model of 100% sell-through rate within 90 days. I usually choose to break that when I know that when I check comps, there's about a 50% or higher sell-through rate, and the comps, the average sale price is really high. And then what I'll choose to do is to get it to sell higher and still get a decent amount of money for it, is I will just sell it slightly less than everybody else. So that's what I did with this. So when I checked comps for that, it was about a 50% sell-through rate. If you check today, I think it still is. And the ones that we're selling though, we're selling for like $80 to $100, sometimes $150 for this brand, which told me that this brand is definitely, you know, higher end and really worth something and high quality. So I decided to get it despite the 50% sell-through rate. And I listed mine, I want to say I listed it for like 80 or 85 and put offers on to just see what I could get for it. And it ended up selling for an offer of $60. So 15 into 60, great return on investment in my opinion, but those are the kind of things that I'm willing to take a chance on if they seem to have a higher resale value. Next up is an Eileen Fisher ribbed merino wool sweater. If you guys watch that thrift haul where we find a ton of Eileen Fisher new with tags, you are going to remember this sweater. I did a quantity listing for the new with tags ones, and those have since, I think most of them are sold out, but I did have one pre-owned one that did not have tags, and I still chose to get it anyways. The ones that are new with tags, I think sold for $85. We listed this one, I think for close to $70, and have since dropped the price. Regardless, it ended up selling on an offer for $61.70. We paid $469 for it. Eileen Fisher is a brand that I personally pick up in everything, especially when it has higher quality materials, because you're going to get a lot of money for it. This one was 100% merino wool, and it was a newer label Eileen Fisher, but regardless, I still pick up the older label ones as well, and we actually just use the photos for these. For the same ones as the new with tag labels. We definitely should have cut that out, but I think every what sold video now I'm catching mistakes on listings. But I would definitely recommend picking up Eileen Fisher in pretty much anything. It sells very, very well for us. Next up is a brand that I just learned about. We picked this up at the bins. We saw this interesting tag called clothingarts.com. Nikki looked this one up and it actually had a really great sell-through rate and was selling for quite a bit. So because I picked this up at the bins, these are just a pair of khaki chino pants. I would say they probably cost $2 to $3 given the weight, but we ended up listing it for about $50 and accepted an offer of $44.99. This sold within just a few weeks of getting it listed. It is definitely the first time I've come across this brand. So if you come across it, I would definitely recommend picking it up. I love niche brands like that. Next up is a brand I hardly ever pick up. It is Abercrombie & Fitch. The only reason that I even looked these up was because I noticed they had a style name on the tag. So this Kinnan Straight, which is usually a good indicator in men's jeans if it's got the style name right on the tag that it is desirable. So I looked these up and it was kind of the same thing as that Oros jacket. I checked comps. It was not 100% sell-through rate, but the ones that did sell were selling for quite a bit of money. So I decided to pick it up. I got this at the bins, so again, probably $2 to $3, and I listed mine for $40 because that's what the other ones in this style were listed for. And it ended up selling, to my surprise, very quickly for my full asking price of $39.99. This is a brand that actually does have a really good sell-through rate. It's called Ms. Moose, and they're very like artsy looking leather shoes. That's the best way I can describe it. Here is the brand label on the inside. Sometimes they are on the bottom of the soles, but this particular one did not have it. But I just thought that these boots were really fall like trendy. You can see there is a little bit of wear to them. I picked these up for $3. They sold on an offer for $38. But everything I've picked up in this brand has sold pretty well, even with some falls. This is a Talbot's Pure Merino Wool cardigan. This is just a size small, but I decided to get it anyways because it was 100% merino wool. Talbot's is a pretty decent brand with a following, and I thought that the colors with the plaid were very trendy for this time of the year. I paid $4.69 for it. It ended up selling on an offer for $38.42. This one did take a few months to sell, but I think that's because we listed it in the warmer months. I've been experimenting with jerseys lately. Somebody gave me a couple of vintage hockey jerseys a while ago. I don't know if you guys remember that video, but they had sold, and that's what kind of sparked my interest on jerseys. Prior to that, I didn't know enough about them to even want to try to mess with them, but I've since learned a little bit about jerseys just in my little bit of research from those hockey ones, and I'm starting to actually look at them when I'm at the thrift stores, and there are some pretty valuable ones. So this is a Nike NFL on-field men's Atlanta Falcons Deion Sanders jersey, and Nike is definitely one I would look for. They do have a higher quality feel to them. I would have liked to have picked up one that wasn't a size small. I think the larger sizes definitely do better, which is true in basically everything that I sell. But I decided to get this one because even in a size small, it had a pretty decent sell-through rate. I paid just $4.89 for this. I listed it for $49.99, and in just a couple weeks, it sold for an offer to watcher of $44.99. This is definitely a great, I was about to say bread and butter, but this one actually sold for quite a bit. But Ralph Lauren tops or Ralph Lauren tops in larger sizes sell really well, especially the plus sizes. I would say extra large and up do extremely well and actually have a good sell-through rate on eBay. So this is a Ralph Lauren women's 3X top. Now, the reason this one sold for so much is because it was a silk linen blend and it had that like Aztec, Southwestern geometric look to it, which in Ralph Lauren really helps to increase the value. It's kind of one of the styles that they're known for. I paid $4.89 for this. I listed it for about $40, and in a couple of months it sold on an offer to watcher for $35.97. Next up is a J. Jill, kind of along the same lines as that Ralph Lauren. J. Jill in larger sizes definitely has a better sell-through rate, but when you add on top of that certain factors, you can really start to bump up the price on those and get more bang for your buck. This is a J. Jill women's silk cashmere blend cardigan. Picking up a lot of cashmere blend stuff, I highly recommend you do, even if it's just a small amount of cashmere. It definitely helps to up the value, and I always put that in my title. Some people say you shouldn't do it if it's not at least 50%. I just go ahead and put all of the materials, like the silk cashmere blend, in there and call it a day, and people can look at the material tag. But I personally choose to put cashmere in it if there is any cashmere in it at all. This was a size extra large, so the larger size definitely helped to up the value, and it's just a black women's cardigan. Not much else to say about it other than the materials. I paid $4.89 for this. I listed for $34.98. It sold within a month for my full asking price. This is something I picked up pretty much based on style. This is the brand Express. Definitely not a brand I pick up very often, but they do make some pretty high quality stuff, and some of their stuff does retail for quite a bit. You can see these retailed for about $70. And the reason I looked at these is because I've had such good luck selling faux leather Spanx pants that I thought maybe some other brands would sell just as well. So these are a pair of size 16, so a little bit larger size, new with tags, faux leather pants. For all of those reasons, I decided to take a chance on these. I paid $4.89 for them. I listed for $29.99, and within a couple of weeks, it sold for my full asking price. This is a Talbot's women's sweater. I accepted a best offer of $25 on this, and I paid $4.69. This is another bread and butter for me. I tried to, again, stick with the larger sizes in Talbot's. And this was a size 2XL. This is actually a men's Talbot sweater. Here's another Ralph Lauren brand. This is Ralph Lauren jeans, which does not always perform the best for me, but I thought that the style could pull it through. it did end up selling. It's taken a while to sell. I think it took a while because it was a size extra small and because it was the Ralph Lauren jeans. I paid $8.44 for this. I think I picked it up from ThredUp. It did take a few months to sell. It ended up selling on an offer for $27.90, but I would recommend picking up in larger sizes than a size extra small this style in any of the Ralph Lauren lines. This like southwestern fringe look, definitely trendy right now. This is one of my favorite brands to sell, although I have been a lot more picky with it. And once again, the larger sizes in this brand are definitely going to perform better. This is just a size medium, but it is a soft surroundings linen white midi skirt. You'll probably notice that we choose not to background remove the lighter color stuff just because the background removal doesn't always perform well with it. I paid $4.75 for this. I listed for $29.99. It ended up selling on an offer to watcher for $26.99, and it took a couple weeks to sell. This is another one of my favorite brands to pick up in men's jeans. It's Polo Ralph Lauren. I will say these do in general take a little bit longer to sell depending on what they are. Some specific styles in this brand and jeans can sell within a week, but most of them I would say do take a few months to sell, looking at the longer tail end of that 90 days. But I can usually sell them for anywhere from 30 to 40 unless they're a more rare style, but I picked them up regardless. I paid $6.99 pair of Polo Ralph Lauren jeans. These ones did not have any particular style. Actually, yes, they did. These were called the 867 jeans. Size 36 by 32. I paid $6.99. They sold on an offer to watcher for $26.97. These ones took 2 to 3 months to sell. These are a pair of American Eagle women's jegging joggers. I picked this up for multiple reasons, and hopefully you guys are learning as these videos go on that I usually just factor stack a lot of things, and if there are enough factors I pick them up because I know it's going to help to increase the value and the sell-through rate. So these are a pair of women's jegging joggers. American Eagle is not a brand I pick up hardly at all anymore. There's very few things I pick up in this brand, but one thing I do pick up are larger sizes. I've noticed larger sizes in this brand in both like sweaters and jeans do really well. I got this one because they are a size 20, newer label, newer tags, a pair of jegging joggers. Very on trend. And once again, it was mostly the larger size. I paid $6.29 for these. They sold within, I think, a week of getting them listed for a full asking price of $24.99. I think the important thing to know is when you are factor stacking, you are running a little bit of a risk because you don't have like a solid seller, but there's a bunch of factors to pull it through. You might want to consider pricing a little bit lower. I know some people are going to look at that and go, wow, 25 bucks is really low for that. But if you don't have a guaranteed sell-through rate for a very specific item and you are factor stacking, once again, consider pricing it a little lower just to get it to move quickly. This is Assets by Spanx. This is a great brand to pick up in my opinion. Now, anything by Spanx does sell very well. There are lines that aren't valued as highly, and I would say Assets by Spanx is probably one of the lower lines, but still has a great following. So these are a size extra large, just pull-on faux leather leggings. These sold for $26.99, which was a full asking price. I paid $4.89 for these. If you find regular line Spanx faux leather leggings in a size extra large, you're probably looking at least $50. So you just have to know the difference between those lines. Here's another American Eagle example of something I'll pick up. I got this at the bin, so probably paid a couple bucks for it. It is just a pretty lightweight, oversized corduroy shirt jacket. Shackets are pretty much always in for fall and winter, which is why I picked this up at the bins. I listed this for $24.98. It sold on an offer to watcher for $22.48 and sold within about a month. This is a Knox Rose, once again larger size. I don't know what else to say. We've been picking up a lot of things in larger sizes, testing them out, and they're just performing really well. Knox Rose is definitely a brand I recommend picking up in larger sizes. I talk about this brand all the time. So size XXL, long sleeve floral boho top. We paid $175 for this, listed for $24.97. It sold within a couple of months for our full asking price. This is a brand I'm not too sure about and I'm still experimenting with. I come across it fairly often. It's VRST, and when I feel these pants, they feel very high quality. They're like kind of like a Lululemon pant, halfway between athletic and a casual like dressy pant. But I've been experimenting with it. There's not much info about it yet, but the ones that I have picked up have sold very quickly. Like these pants, these are again the athletic-y feel type of pant. They were size 40, so a little bit larger size. I paid $4.89 for them, listed for $24.99. They sold within a couple of weeks for an offer to watcher for $22.49. I think I'm going to continue picking up this brand and just seeing how it performs. This was something I took a little bit of a chance on. It is Daily Practice by Anthropologie. I wanted to show you this brand because I actually wasn't familiar with this as an Anthropologie brand. So if you come across it, it is Anthropologie, and you can double check that by checking the 66170RN. That is Urban Outfitters or Anthropologie. Either way, I picked this up. I thought it was, although it was basic, it was very high quality, and to my surprise, it ended up selling very quickly. I paid $4.89 for this. I listed for $24.98. It sold in about a month for $22.48. And all of those offer to watcher prices are literally, most of them are just 10% off. I send 10% off offer to watchers in bulk on eBay all the time. This is a Life is Good shirt. This is definitely a high sell-through rate brand, but it does not always sell for a lot. Usually it's like a $15 to $20 sale, but this was a size extra large in men's, and as I stated before, larger sizes helped up the value. This one was also just a cool graphic. It was a shark graphic, so I priced it a little bit higher. I paid $4.89 for this, listed for $24.98. It sold within a month for my full asking price. Moving on to some Poshmark sales. This is a Uniqlo ultralight down jacket. I pick up a lot of down jackets in fall and winter or leading up to that, and they sell very quickly. The lightweight ones, in my opinion, do better because more people are looking for lightweight ones. So anything packable or ultralight, definitely worth getting. So I paid $6.99 for this women's Uniqlo puffer jacket, and it ended up selling for $36. This one did not take long to sell. This is a great brand to pick up in the men's department. It is Johnny O. This is called the Hanging Out shirt, and once again, if you see a style name on pretty much anything, it's usually a good indicator that it is worth picking up, but as always, do your comps. I paid $4.89 for this Hanging Out shirt. It was also a size extra large, so I priced it a little higher because of that. It ended up selling on an offer for $32. This is a Carhartt jacket. I used to pick up so much Carhartt. The popularity has definitely died down, but I got this one at the bins, and it had that plaid lining, kind of that grungy acid wash look, which is why I thought I could list it for pretty high. This was also just a size medium, so not like high sell-through rate size, but high sell-through rate factors for sure. So I got this at the bins. I'd say it probably cost $5 because these jackets are pretty heavy, but I ended up selling for $55, so I was really happy with that. Next up is another style of jacket or coat that I'm going to be looking for. This is a barn coat. Anytime you see this style with like the corduroy trim, sometimes it is a leather trim, but definitely this style is called a barn coat, and you'll want to put that in your title. This one I thought was just structured really well, and it was a size large by Eddie Bauer. I paid up for this quite a bit. I paid $14.99. I ended up accepting an offer of $40. I think had I listed this more towards fall and winter, where we're at now, I wouldn't have priced that so low, but I think we priced this during the warmer months and have since dropped the price, which is why it sold for so little, but still 15 into 40 is pretty good. But I'd highly recommend looking into barn coats, especially with certain Western shows being popular right now. these things are definitely going to sell. And some good keywords to put in it are outdoor barn, chore, and utility. Here's another example of something I wouldn't normally pick up, but it's in a larger size. This is a size extra large, oversized airy sweater. It's just that Chanel turtleneck. I just thought it was very trendy. Again, size extra large. I paid $4.89. It sold for $25. And that's kind of my sweet spot. 5 into 25 is perfect for me. Great bread and butter. And again, it's what pays the bills. This is another Knox Rose piece. This is a size extra large. And this one was actually new with tags. You can see this only retails for $27.99 and this sold for $27. So sometimes you can get retail, if not over retail sometimes for that. So just keep that in mind. People say Knox Rose doesn't sell. It absolutely does. It has a great resale value. You just want to make sure you're picking up the larger sizes. So I paid $3.25 for this, sold it for $27. It's just a waffle knit thermal top, size extra large. Here's another example of an American Eagle pickup I got. I got this at the bin, so it wasn't too risky, but it's a men's color block Sherpa jacket. I just thought this was really on trend. I think I listed for $40 and it ended up selling on an offer for $32. This is another Anthropologie piece. This is Maeve. Maeve is one of my favorite brands to pick up in Anthropologie. People seem to have mixed feelings about it. A lot of people say this brand doesn't move. It's one of the worst Anthropologie brands. I personally think it's one of the best. I have really good luck with this brand, so I don't really know what to say about it. But this is called the Addie Ruffled Hatchy Pullover Sweater. Obviously very on trend for fall. I picked this up for $4.89 and it sold for $35 pre-owned, which is really good for a pre-owned sweater. This was also a Ben's pickup. I mentioned this in a thrift haul. This is a ruggable, washable area rug. This, although it is a rug, is super lightweight. So even though I got this at the Ben's, it probably cost me less than $5. So these ruggable rugs are known for being washable and interchangeable. They usually come with a base, and you can see this one is just the rug, does not come with base. And they have Velcro on the back, and you basically lay the top of it on your base, and then you can rip it off whenever it's time to wash it, throw it in the washer, and that's why people love ruggable rugs. So if you guys come across ruggable, a very high sell-through rate, and they sell for quite a bit. You can see this was supposed to be 2 pieces, but I just had the top. But you do need to know that when you are listing these, so that you can tell the customer whether it's just the rug and the base, or it's just the rug, or it's just the base. But I listed this pretty high because, like I said, very desirable item. And it ended up selling on an offer for $75. And once again, I picked this up at the Ben's. This one even had a small spot. This is definitely a brand I'd recommend picking up. It is Patagonia. I will say this brand has really taken a decline. I remember a couple years ago, I probably could have gotten like $60 for this jacket, but this one sold for $36. It is a men's Speed Ascent full zip jacket. I paid $6.99 for this jacket and it sold for $36. I definitely think it's one of those brands you need to attempt to, if you can, find the style name. This one also had some flaws, but we decided to pick it up anyways because Patagonia has such a following. Here's another Patagonia item. This is a men's better sweater pullover. These still seem to have a decent following, and I thought this was a really great color. This we paid $4.69 for and sold on an offer for $34. Even though this has, again, taken a decline and doesn't sell for as much as it used to, Patagonia still has a really great following. So I continue to pick it up even though I'm only getting, less for it than what I used to. This is something interesting that we've been picking up lately, maternity wear. I'm not super familiar with maternity wear quite yet, but I will say we have been experimenting with it and they've actually been performing really well. This is brand Latched Mama, which we don't normally get, but this was a more substantial piece in a sweatshirt and we listed for $29 on Poshmark. It actually sold for full asking price and we paid $2.76. I think maternity wear is a really looked over category in Poshmark and eBay sales. This is an interesting sale. I got this at a half off sale at a local thrift store of mine. They actually had this price for $70 in a case, and I asked if this was included in the sale. They said yes, so I got this for $35, which is quite a bit to pay up for anything, but I saw that comps were going anywhere from $150 to $250, so I thought it was worth a chance. This is my first time coming across this brand, but I can tell you that this has a really high sell-through rate and a really high average sale price, so definitely worth looking into if you come across it. It is, I think, pronounced Olath or Olathe, O-L-A-T-H-E. Made in USA, Western Boot Company. This one was really nice. These boots had hardly been worn. I just had to wipe the dust off of them and they were good to go. Very nice colors, very nice structure, and you can just tell how high quality and thick this leather is. So once again, I paid really up for this. I paid $35. I think we listed for about $200 or $250, somewhere in between there. Very quickly they sold, and I ended up taking an offer for $170 just to get them moved quickly. So this is the kind of item I'm definitely willing to pay up for. $35 into $170. You can't beat that. Next up is an Athleta up-tempo jogger. Once again, style name on the label, so I looked that up. These were a size extra, extra small petite, which is not a great size. I typically would not pick up that size. But the up-tempo jogger style were doing really well, so we went ahead and got it. I paid $4.29 for those. They ended up selling on an offer for $36. I think Athleta is a really looked over brand, but they have a lot of really good pieces with a high sell-through rate. Here's another pair of Western boots. These are called Twisted X. I got these specifically for the style. These were a much smaller size, which typically I don't like to get. These are 6.5 in women's, but they were in really good condition and had some really nice color details. I paid $5.99 for this, and they ended up selling it on an offer for $45. Once again, with all of those shows coming out that are Western themed, this kind of stuff is definitely going to begin selling. This is one of my favorite brands to pick up. I will say sometimes it does sit, but it always sells for a decent amount. It is Marine Layer. This is a men's short sleeve polo shirt, size medium. It was made with Pima cotton, which helped up the value a little bit, but it ended up selling for $27. This is a great brand to sell. I pick up pretty much everything in this brand in men's or women's. It is Faherty. This is another one of those things where, depending on the piece, it doesn't always have the best sell-through rate, but retails for quite a bit. And so I usually take chances on this brand. These men's pants, however, do have a really good sell-through rate. Some of the women's pieces do not, but once again, I pick up everything. These retailed for $128. They are just a pair of chino khaki pants. And we paid $4.89 for these. They ended up selling for $55, and these ones were new with tags. And lastly, sale on Poshmark and last sale of this video that I'm going to share was this Beta brand women's floral wrap dress. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Beta brand, but they're known for their like dress pants that feel like yoga pants. And so I was not expecting this to be Beta brand when we came across this at the thrift store. We paid $4.89 for this. It sold for $42. I have recently sold quite a few Beta brand things that are, I guess, outside of the category of what I know them for, which are their dress pants, and they've been performing really well. So keep your eye out for Beta brand pieces, not just in their pants.
Alright guys, so that was it for what sold last week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. Again, don't forget to subscribe down below if you're not already, and you want to be notified every time I post these videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.